Hello, my name is Dr. Scott Young with Hearing Solutions Centers, and today I'm going to introduce to you a 4-part series on in-ear monitors. Coming right up. You see, in-ear monitors has a special place in my heart. It starts because I was a vocal performance major. I had a scholarship at 2 different universities. I remember this very clearly, my first theory class. Now, any musician knows theory is really hard if you play by ear. And that's exactly what I did. But the professor puts down this record player and she starts playing Beat It by Michael Jackson. Now, I don't know if it was an A in this thing, but she said, oh, did you hear that A minor 7th? I heard the minor in the chord. I can play an A minor 7th, but I mean, holy cow. I had no idea of the A or the 7th in there. I was overwhelmed. I dropped the major, went on to, later on to become an audiologist, but I never forgot that I loved being on stage. I've been on stage probably 1,500 times, whether as a worship leader, as a background vocalist, or what my favorite thing to do is to sing performance. And so that is always in the background. Now, most musicians know that it's not very fun for us to go see a concert because most of us really want to be on stage, and we want to be on stage. It can be almost a depressing time. And so I remember a seminal moment as I was an audiologist in 1992 that Carmen, now he is a Christian musician in the 80s and the 90s. And I had heard his stuff, but I'd never seen him on stage. So he shows up at this place that I was working for, and he wants these things called in-ear monitors. And I'm like, you want what? And so he's explaining it. We get the earwax out of his ears to take the impression. We send it off to the factory for him. That's all I was going to do. But he said, well, I kind of bounce around the stage because I can't hear the wedges. I'm like, well, that makes sense, I guess. But it was a very, very new concept. Very few musicians had it. Now, today, there isn't a musician that doesn't have, his or her in-ear monitors. This is just one without the wire. I just took that off for that. Now, the problem that started to happen is that was in my background, but no one was really doing it. So I remember in the early 2000s, in early to mid 2000s, there was this church, and they went from a very short design, sound was awesome, and they had wedges up front, no in-ear monitors, to an elongated, normal kind of church design. The first Sunday that I was there, which happened to be the second Sunday they were in that location, 6 families shoot out the back. It's screaming loud. Now, I have hearing loss and I wear hearing aids. I have them off because I'm going to show you about in-ear monitors today. But I'm telling you that those people were freaking out. For literally, 12 weeks, I was in communication with them. I said, guys, I can fix the stuff on stage with about $2,400. And they would never listen to me on that issue. It was very frustrating. They would turn off the sound and then have it reflect off the back wall. They had risers. They spent $60,000 and never fixed the problem. That struck a chord in me. You see, there are other churches and there are other concert halls that you'll see this kind of thing. The singers will be up in the front line. The drums are not caged. We will talk about caging your drums. That's not behind bars, but nice caging. And so the drums are not caged, and the drummer clicks in, and boom, the singers do this. They can't hear the wedges on stage, or they were doing this so that they could hear themselves. They were flat, and it messes everything up. So over the years, especially in the 2000s, we had more and more in-ear monitor companies pushing their wares out to the musicians. Well, that's fine and dandy. You can do whatever you feel like, but we're missing a portion of the equation. You see, when my wife was homeschooling my son, they got to a really tough time frame. The tough time frame is that he had these math problems. And you had to show your math. You know, when you get to Algebra 2, you kind of got to show all of your math. He'd be a +10, but it was really a -10 because he didn't show that. And I want to show you through this whole series that there is a portion of the math equation that we are truly missing as musicians. In-ear monitors need one other thing. And it's not just the sound guide. By the way, the sound guide is very, very important. And you need to have good equipment. But you need to have in-ear monitors. And it's not just the non-custom ones. It is custom in-ear monitors. You see, there's probably only a handful of audiologists in the nation. I'm not trying to just toot my horn, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. I've been doing this for 29 years. I wear hearing technology. I have some hearing loss because of some surgeries and because of being a musician. And, you know, I play my music loud just like almost every other musician I know of. And that has coupled along with my music background. And there are very few people who understand it. Let me give you a story to kind of end it up here. So there's a place called Drum World in Tulsa. And it's by a friend of mine named Matt Donaldson. And he is one of the most violent drummers. And I say violent not as a bad thing. He's just all over the place, right? He's a Tasmanian devil when you see him play. And he's a great drummer. One of his drum teachers, Jason, called around different places, and he tells me the story when he comes in the office. He calls in this first audiology group and he says, I need to get in-ear monitors. They were like, why? And he tries to explain the best he can, but he's really trying to figure it out as he's explaining it. You know, so when you have partial information. And so the front office person says, well, you just need to turn down your music. No. Calls up the next place. She says the same thing, goes back to the audiologist. They say the same thing. He is so frustrated. He calls up my office. My wife answers the phone, which she normally does not do that. And she says, oh yeah, we know about that. Just talk to Dr. Young. Schedules an appointment with me. And he says, how come you're the only person that understands this? It's because I've been on stage. I know what in-ear monitors do. I know how they work, why they work the way that they work. And here's the key element. Here's the part of the math equation that you have got to understand. Is you need to have a local audiologist who knows how to make that in-ear monitor. Now, as audiologists, we have this piece of the puzzle of making things in the ear and making them work correctly. You see, if you just have the online manufacturers that have these non-custom kind of things, it's a problem. I'm going to show you that problem because next we're going to talk about why custom is important. We're going to show you the difference between non-custom and custom in-ear monitors. If you like this, you gotta subscribe. You gotta watch what we're gonna do. We're gonna share with you information I promise you you've never heard before. Thanks so much.